Hey, hello, and today I've got a tobacco review for you, and I'm going to be using my Falcon shillelagh to smoke this tobacco with its rusticated bowl there. Now I've got a bit of history with this tobacco, and this is Ennerdale Flake from Gawith, Hoggarth. The tin is very thoughtfully been designed with a gory photograph of a diseased lung, because smoking apparently doubles your risk of a stroke. Thought I'd point that out for you. Now, Ennerdale Flake, looking it up online, Gawith, Hoggarth, Ennerdale Flake is a popular blend of finest Virginias from Brazil, Zimbabwe and Malawi, with a dab of Malawian burley. It is imbued with the comforting aromas of almond, citrus, vanilla with floral and spice, giving what is dubbed a typical English aroma. Well, that's not quite right. That's a typical Lakeland aroma. Now, I've got a lot of history with this blend here, because I gave up smoking for a long time because I was addicted to cigarettes. I've told this story before, and when I was trying to give up cigarettes, I gave up all forms of smoking. I cast my pipes aside because I was worried that by enjoying a pipe it might lead me back down the slippery slope to cigarette smoking. So I gave up smoking cigarettes for a good, well, I've given up for 6 years now, but I gave it for a good 5.5 years before I went back to the pipe, because by then I felt I had broken my addiction to cigarettes and I'm able to smoke a pipe, and I am, thankfully, now. But since then I haven't smoked Ennerdale Flake, although I used to smoke it a long time, quite often back in the day. Now this is a brand new tin of Ennerdale Flake that I've only purchased this week, so let me get this cracked open. So although I've got a pretty good idea what to expect from that, apart from being not able to open the tin here. So although I've got a pretty good idea what to expect from this tobacco, as I have smoked it so many times in the past, it's been a long time. So will it live up to the memories I have of it? Now the presentation is wonderful as always. As you get this with every Gawith Hoggarth tin, you get a nice bit of cardboard insert in there with the original Gawith Hoggarth factory showing there. Some waxy paper here to keep the tobacco fresh, and the flake inside is the familiar flakes of Ennerdale Flake, if you can see them there. Now I'm going to rub a little bit of this out. They're quite large flakes, so for a bowl this size that is way too much. Now some people, when packing flakes, will simply fold and stuff into the bowl. I'd never liked to do that. I always like to rub out my flakes. So I think that's plenty there. Looking at it, you can see a mixture of the light and dark tobaccos. There's some yellowy colours in here, there's some amber, there's some black, there's some brown. So I'm going to rub this out now. And I haven't taken a whiff yet of the tin to give you the tin aroma, which is rather remiss of me, but I'll do that in a moment. I'm drinking a nice Scotch on the rocks here. That is Grant's Triple Wood, used to be called Grant's Family Reserve. So I'm using that to accompany this pipe. Decent whiskey. So let's see what we get out of the tin first off with the Ennerdale Flake. Yes, that's that familiar Lakeland aroma coming back to me over the years. It's almost like the aroma that you get from condo tobacco, only a lot more refined. Quite nice. So let's get this pipe a-glowing. Now Ennerdale Flake is very popular, and I believe it still remains Gawith and Hoggarth's best-selling flake tobacco. Out of the tin, straight out of the tin, it's not overly moist. In fact, it's got a pretty decent moistness level, so you're not going to need to dry this out prior to smoking. As you can see, that small amount, which was what, half a flake that I rubbed out, is absolutely spot on to fill this Falcon bowl. In fact, I've got a few little shreds of tobacco left there, which I'll put back in the tin. I mean, the price on tobacco these days, waste not, want not. I'm quite. I've got a bit of trepidation to try this because it's been so long since I've smoked this blend, and I remember I really used to like it back in the day. Although, to be honest with you, I remember so much about Ennerdale because I did smoke it a lot that I remember that when I first ever tried it, that taste that sometimes people describe as a soapy taste sort of hit me on the nose, and I thought, well, I don't like this. But after a while I started to really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward now to experiencing that taste again. Just a quick note on my pipe, this Falcon, really, really handsome pipe, this shillelagh with the blue central stem there. Let's wet the whistle with the scotch. Let's get this going. It should light rather easily.
As I watch the sun descending and the birds fly home to rest.
Okay, so there's the charring light. Temp down the loose tobacco. Get it going properly.
In the hush when day is ending, that's the hour when I feel blessed. Smoking my pipe. Smoking my pipe. Like a whisper through the cornfield.
Those old familiar places.
Comes a gentle evening breeze. At the doorway of my cottage I recall old memories. Smoking my pipe.
The memories are coming flooding back.
Smoking my pipe. Those far off places beyond the blue.
The ghosts of bowls past are visiting me now.
Familiar faces that once I knew.
A very rich taste to Ennerdale. Very
I recall those days behind me and the happiness they meant. Every sundown you will find me with a heart that is content.
mild.
Smoking my pipe. Smoking my pipe. You remember the first time we met? You were the only one in that railway carriage who didn't like me smoking my dear old pipe. Compromise.
Our famous floral Lakeland top-in is right on the button here.
I opened the window. What a lovely surprise you gave me on our wedding day. A tobacco jar. How I remember each smile and tear as life's December is drawing near. Time's old ever-moving finger.
Big strength, I think, in terms of nicotine.
Closes one more day, but yet, while such thoughts as mine can linger,
Really tasty.
I'll have nothing to regret. Smoking my pipe. Smoking my pipe.
And not
Smoking my pipe.
that old familiar taste. It doesn't seem to be as rich in the floral aspect as it once was. The room note is back. It's like a geranium kind of aroma. And that top-in, which I've always believed to be rose oil, or essence of rose, which Kendal uses as well, is there. But this is a totally different experience to something like Kendal. This is far more richer in that rosy kind of Lakeland essence. It's beautiful. As I say, it's a traditional taste in tobacco and a traditional smell in tobacco. It's a type of tobacco smell you would have experienced if you walked into a room where there was a pipe smoker perhaps 50 years ago. It's built on tradition and it remains true to that tradition. That's something to be applauded in 2025. this tobacco, this taste, this aroma, this scent, this stretches back through the decades. It is bringing memories gushing back to me. As I say, I used to smoke quite a lot of Ennerdale back in the day, before they were forced to stick photos of diseased lungs on the labels. Earlier on, I smoked a bowl of Dunhill Nightcap, which is now Peterson Nightcap. I filmed these videos back to back. The Peterson Nightcap is the previous video that I've posted, but I've filmed these back to back. This is a totally different experience to the Peterson Nightcap. Equally good, but from a different end of the pipe smoking spectrum. They're both English blends, but this is English and more specifically Lakeland, whereas the Peterson Nightcap was more of a Latakia English. This is a Virginian English. What is the Lakeland? I'd love to visit the Gawith Hoggarth or the Samuel Gawith factories and just walk through the factory and experience the aroma in those places. Must be absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's easy burning. The reason I'm relighting it a lot is because I'm stopping to talk so much, but I think if I sat just sipping it, it wouldn't need half as many relights as it's getting. It's got that familiar Lakeland style, but this may be the ultimate in Lakeland styles. It may be the ultimate in Lakeland tobaccos. If someone's new to Lakeland tobacco styles and you wanted to show them what a Lakeland tobacco is, I mean, you could give them your Condo, which is very much in the Lakeland style. But if you really wanted to show them what the Lakeland style is capable of, then Ennerdale Flake is that tobacco. In no other tobacco is that floral Lakelandy essence better delivered than in this, and you're also getting the sweetness of the Virginia and the nuttiness. There's not much information on the tin of what tobaccos are in here. All it says on the back is Gawith Hoggarth, original, traditional English, and it is tradition. This tastes of tradition. You know, if I jumped in Marty McFly's DeLorean and travelled back to 1880 and sat out there on the village green with a pipe of this, and a Victorian gentleman came along with his pipe, and I gave him a bowl full of this, I don't think he'd think much of the gory images on the tin, but the actual tobacco in his bowl, he'd be familiar with it. This really does reek of traditionality. They missed a trick in those Back to the Future movies, didn't they? Going back to the 1950s to, and then make sure that Marty McFly's mother and father got married, then whipping it forward to some nightmarish future, which is actually in the past to where we are now at 2025, I believe. I don't think they went that far forward, did they? And then going back to the Wild West. Wild West is cool, but they really should have used that car to travel through time and pipe smoke through the decades to see how the hobby, the art of pipe smoking has changed, and the way that certain tobaccos have changed over the decades. But I tell you this now, for certain, Marty McFly and Doc and the Victorian pipe smoker they met up with would realise that Ennerdale Flake hasn't changed. It sticks with tradition. This is pretty much the same tobacco you're smoking as you would have been smoking 50 years ago, 100 years ago.